Hello, this is my audience. According to data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics and the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, in 2010, only an estimated 3.5% of the U.S. population was illegal immigrants. Of that 3.5% of illegal immigrants, only 52% were estimated to be from Mexico. That's only 1.8% of the population. Yet, at this time, when unemployment rate was reaching nearly 10%, many people put the blame on that 1.8% of illegal Mexican immigrants for stealing Americans' jobs. In order for the math to work out on this claim, every illegal Mexican immigrant would have had to come to the U.S. and work 120 hours a week, which is the equivalent to 3 full-time jobs, or 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, year-round. Misconceptions like these about Mexican immigrants lead to fear by American citizens, which politicians then monopolize on and use to get elected. I'm going to try to prove that a wall across the Mexican-American border will not fix immigration issues. After taking a class on U.S. and Latin American relations and reading countless nonfiction novels on the subject, and extensive research for this speech, I will use actual government data to support my stance. Immigration, especially from Mexico, is a topic that many Americans have a strong opinion about, yet actually know very little about. The media and some individuals spread fear and place blame while leaving out many important facts. Today I'm going to focus on the flaws in the practical issues, the economic costs, and the human costs in a plan to build a wall across the Mexican-American border, as well as talk about previous failure of a similar plan that was enacted in the 1990s, and finish up with a brief discussion of other options that are available. The Washington Post fact checker released an article in which they consulted many engineers and experts to figure out the logistics of such a feat of building a wall. The following statistics are for a wall covering only 1,000 miles of the 2,000-mile border. According to their experts, the monetary cost would be around $25 billion, which, if U.S. citizens were going to pay for this wall out of pocket, would add up to about $80 for every man, woman, and child. This figure does not include the cost of video surveillance to watch the wall and border patrol. It would take nearly 40,000 workers for a minimum of 4 years, and the difficulty of obtaining the privately owned land in order to build the wall would be a huge setback. In addition, it would harm many natural resources and many animals, and would destroy their homes and potentially cut off many sources of food and water. In order to stop illegal immigrants, we have to understand why these people are coming in the first place. If you look at the pictures in your packet, the first page in your packet is a picture of the wall that the engineers sketched out. The second page this is the wall. The second page is a picture that shows how Guatemalan citizens get to the border to then cross it. They travel on very dangerous train tops. And here you can see a picture of them sleeping on the train tops, and you can look at this chart as I talk about it. There's a novel called Enrique's Journey, which details the Guatemalan citizens' journey to the United States, which, like I said, is on top of trains, and the trains are ran by gangs, and the women are raped, and people are killed and robbed, and it's altogether just a really awful journey, but they're willing to take it to get to America. You can also see the chart that shows the amount of people who die currently trying to cross the border. In 2012, the number was 500, and that doesn't even include until they get to the actual border. So this just shows us that because of their circumstances, people will find a way, no matter how dangerous it is to get into the United States. With a wall, we would have more organized crime to help those people get in, and they would still end up getting in anyway. Now we're going to talk about Operation Gatekeeper, which was enacted in the 1994 by Bill Clinton. It was designed to militarize the border between the United States and Mexico, and they introduced high-intensity stadium-type lighting, a large number of motion detectors, remote control video surveillances, and they had a 33% increase in the number of Border Patrol agents, and they actually built a large span of wall, which if you flip the page, you can see a map that talks about some of the current conditions of the border right now. So there is a wall across the border right now that most people don't know about. And there's a picture of that. And then illegal immigrations have increased since the 800-mile wall was put up in 1996. In 1996, 1.9% of the U.S. population was undocumented Mexicans, and by 2014, it's 3.5% of the United States population. So we see that this wall is not helping, if anything. All it did was make the journey more deadly and dangerous and costly. From 1994 to 2001, $9 billion was spent on this operation that hasn't proven any much of a success. And it actually keeps illegal immigrants in the country longer because it's more difficult for them to go back once they get here. There's no denying that immigration should be controlled. A wall will only make things worse, so we should focus on making fair processes for legal immigration. We should have higher penalties for people who assist undocumented immigrants. If you think about Americans, we have many people in the United States who are helping this process along. We have people who are employing the undocumented immigrants when they get here. We have people who are providing them with a place to live. So if we take more accountability, they might not end up wanting to come here anyways if there's no jobs or houses for them when they get here. We shouldn't focus on how to bar them out. We should focus on how to make them not want to come. So like I said, no opportunities for them as undocumented immigrants. In conclusion, a wall across the Mexican-American border will not solve the immigration issue. The plan is not feasible economically, and if a wall is put up, the human cost will be too high. Previous policies have proven that this one will fail, and there are many better options than a wall. While immigration is an issue, it is important not to fall victim to politicians' fear-mongering and media's false accusations. It's important to look at the raw data when considering if a wall would be an effective method to deter illegal immigrants, and the statistics show that it would not. Here's my audience again. Oops. Thank you.